Hello, it's Steve here again from the Studio One Soapbox, and in today's video I want to talk about 3 ways, possibly a few more, of how to do parallel compression within Studio One. So firstly we have a little folk rock track. I'll let you hear a little bit of that, and that's what we'll be working on today. Okay, so you get a little feel for that. So let's dive right in. So our first method of employing parallel compression is to use the splitter. So for instance, on our bass track here, if we come down to our channel editor button, click on that, and if we go to our routing button and click on that, here you can see this is a processing at the minute. So let's add a splitter. Simply grab it. I'm going to add it after the processing, and there we go. We have our splitter. We're in normal mode, which means that this signal is just split into 2 directions and then comes back together again. So what we can do then is add compression on one side of the split. So let's go up to our inserts, a classic. Let's go for an LA76. There we go. Let's drag that onto the one side, and let's open it up, get some settings going. Let's have all buttons in, super fast attack, give it a bit of volume, and back to the splitter. And what we can do now is, as you can see below, Presonus have now added a little volume, and we can blend in our parallel compression. So let's start with that low. Let's solo up the bass, and let's hear that. Now let's slowly bring in our parallel compression. Our parallel compression, here you can see the lines broke. Bring it back in. Okay, so you get the idea of that. So that's our first way, simply using a splitter and adding a compressor on the one side of the signal, and then we can blend it in using the volume level for that. So secondly, and very popular with a lot of producers, is to simply duplicate the track. So again, we'll use our bass, click on that, go up to track, we'll go duplicate complete, which means it will bring the audio and everything, processing the lot all with it. Duplicate. And there we go, there's our duplication, bass 2. And we simply add our processing on that. So again, let's use the old 76. Again, all buttons in, super fast attack, super fast released. Give it a bit of volume. And again, on this occasion, we would just use the fader of our duplicate track. So let's pull that down, and then we'll blend that in as well. So let's see how this sounds. That's just our original. Let's blend in our parallel compression. There you go, you can really hear that. Okay, so there's our second method. Let's go back again. Control Z to get rid of that. Thirdly, it's more of a part one, part two type of thing. We can use our send function where we can send this direct signal to an effects or a bus channel. So first up, let's use an effects. So we'll go into our browser. Let's look in our favorites. There we go. This is 76. And if we drag that over onto our send and let it go, there you go. There's that channel there. Let's drag it over just for handiness. As you can see, if you do it this way, if you drag the insert onto the send, Studio One automatically creates the routing and creates our effects channel here with the compressor already loaded on it. Fantastic. And if I hold down Shift and click on that, that sets it at unity gain. And again, let's go for our all buttons in, super fast attack, fast release, and give it a bit of volume there. And again, we can simply blend that in. Here we go. Let's blend that in. There you go. If we turn off the send, we're back to the original. If we turn the send back on to our 1176, okay, so as you can see, that's that. Personally, I like to use effects channels, but a lot of people prefer to use buses because, as you know, effects channels technically don't have a send on it, although you can come down to where it says main and you can send it to a few various different channels, and you can also side chain it as well. So it does have a bit of a send, just works slightly differently. So let's go back on that. Let's get rid of that particular send. And the other way to do that is we click on this and go down to a bit of blank area. Hold on, let's get rid of our browser. Right click, let's create a bus channel. There it is beside our base. And again, we just send that to the bus. So let's go. It's called bus 1. Let's hold down Shift, click on our volume, set a pre-fader and unity gain. And unfortunately, on this way, we have to manually insert the compressor. There we go. Again, all buttons in, super fast attack, super fast release. Let's crush it. And again, we can just fade that in. Here we go. Let's fade that in. Turn off the parallel compression. Turn off the send. Put the send back in. So you get the idea. So that's using a bus, not just as handy or straightforward as dragging it into the send and creating an effect channel. But some people prefer it because we have a send on the bus channels and you can now send that to somewhere else. Maybe you want a bit of special effect or something, maybe some delay, maybe a bit of reverb, whatever it happens to be. And lastly, just before we go for a bit of fun, there's a famous engineer, Mr. Andrew Sheps, who likes to use parallel compression within his mix. He uses what he calls crush channels, where he would possibly send the likes of the bass and the snare drum to a drum crush, maybe use the bass DI, send it to a bass crush, and he's very fond of using parallel compression right through all the mix. But one of the ways that he utilizes this technique is he calls it his rear 2 bus. Comes up from the back of using analog consoles, when we all thought that quad stereo sound, 4 speakers was going to be the new big thing. Unfortunately, it didn't take off. And so you actually had a front master bus channel, left and right, but you also had a rear master bus channel, rear right and rear left. And that's what he used to send stuff in, just to give it a bit more effect. So we're going to mimic what Andrew does, and he now does it in the box. And what I'm going to do is create a bus, and I'll drag in, let's see, just for a bit of fun, we'll drag in deflector. Just wait on it loading up. Right, here we go. Let's get deflector. Let's pick out something that'll crush. Nuclear escalation, that sounds good. We'll turn the input down a little because I know it goes a little bit mad. We'll unlink that to create a dual mono. Let's X that off. And so what Andrew does is he would send all his music into this rear 2 bus. So let's do that. This is one thing that annoys me about Studio One at the minute. I mean, personally, it would be good to be able to start with our bass, come down to our backing, hold down Shift and click. That's all those tracks selected. And we just like to create a send. And we want to send it to our bus 1. But it only creates it on the 1 track. Very annoying. At the minute, there is no way to just even grouping these and adding the send still doesn't just make it appear across all tracks. So hopefully PreSonus will get their act into gear and get that sorted out, because look, now I have to manually do all this. Will not send the verb. As you can see, too lengthy, too laborious. You certainly wouldn't want to be doing this every day of the week. And we're nearly done. Okay, now I want to go back on all of those and do unity gain, pre-fader. Again, very long, too laborious, and slows down our workflow. And Studio One is all about super fast workflow. So hopefully they will get that sorted real soon. So now we have all our music going into this compressor called Deflector. We're crushing the living daylights out of it, and let's blend that in and see what effect that gives us. Let's unmute that. We'll have everything playing, and I'll just blend this in. Here we go. Let's take it out. Add it back in. We'll lower that a little. So as you can hear, it adds quite a bit of oomph to the whole track. The music seems to come a bit more alive, and it's an excellent technique. I've used it a few times myself. I think I'll use it a lot more. And also, you could use the classic of sending your drums to a compressor, crushing those as well, and blending those in. And it gives a fantastic effect to your mix. And certainly, you can listen back to your mix, sounds fantastic, but I have found that using this Andrew Shep's method of a rear 2 bus and slowly blending in a crushed track where you have all the music going to one, drums separately sent to, say, another bus, for instance, and blending those in certainly brings your track to life. So do give that a try. So let's recap. Firstly, we have our splitter. Secondly, we duplicate the track and add it on there. Thirdly, we have our effects or using a bus channel and put the compressor on there and using the send function of our original tracks or tracks. And thirdly, we have our Andrew Shep's 2-bus, rear 2-bus effect, as he likes to call it, where we send all our music into a crush of a compressor on a bus channel. So do try this out. There is a lot of fun. There is one other way, actually, before I go, of using parallel compression. Let me take that off. And well, let's go back to our bass. Let's solo up a bass. And if we come down to Presonus, just for instance, let's load up the Presonus compressor. Oh, we're having problems, Houston. I've noticed this a lot, where it won't let me scroll any further sometimes. Not quite sure if that is to do with my graphics card or what it is. Maybe somebody could shed some light on that. So let's drag that over instead then. Let's come down to Presonus. Let's drag the compressor over. There it is. You drag that on the channel. So this way, it's directly on the channel. And if you look here at the top corner, we have a mix. So if I give this a bit of a crush, like 20 to 1, let's just do auto just for handiness. And if I take that out, and using the mix simply means it taking the dry signal at the minute and then mixing in the crush on the compressor. Let's get that threshold going a bit. I really want to crush that. And let's mix that in. Full compressor, dry signal. As you can see, we would need to make up the gain. Let's make up the gain. Take that out. Yep, somewhere about there. And if we reduce that to 50-50 or full. Okay, so I think you'll agree it's possibly not as effective, but it is a way of doing parallel compression by using a mix control, which is on quite a few compressors from different manufacturers. So that's it. We have our splitter. Duplicate the track and add the compression there. Using the send function of the track, you can send it to an effects channel or a bus channel. For a bit of fun, we can use our Andrew Shep's, send it to what he calls his rear 2 bus. And lastly, but not leastly, we can use the mix control on various manufacturers' compressors. So I hope that helps you understand parallel compression. It's simply taking the original signal, send it to a compressor, usually crushing the living daylights out of it with a super fast attack and a high ratio, and just blending that in slightly underneath, or choosing to use it and blending in the direct signal. It's whatever works for the track. So thanks for joining me. I'll catch you again in the next video. Happy mixing. Thank you.